Meanwhile, Senate Minority Leader John McKinney is helping to take care of things here at home. He is here to talk about the session's busy agenda. And we'll talk about what else needs to be talked about, a political overview of what the season holds for lawmakers and for voters. Welcome to The Real Story. I'm Lori Perez. This week we start with a conversation with a man we know well. We've known him as our Attorney General for 20 years, but now he is Senator Richard Blumenthal, and about 2 weeks into his new job. Joining in the conversation is current columnist Rick Green. Thanks, both of you, for being here.
Thank you.
Senator, congratulations. I don't think I've seen you much since your election, so I wanted to say congratulations on being sworn in.
Thank you.
You know, unfortunately, your first week was marked by this horrible tragedy, the shooting in Arizona targeting Representative Giffords. Tell me, what was your reaction when you first heard about it? Not only perhaps your concerns about her, but, you know, your thoughts about this new job and the new exposure and the risks associated.
My heart really went out to, and prayers to, the Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, whom I have met. Gabby Giffords, a very esteemed colleague, but also to the other innocent victims, the 9-year-old girl who was killed, the federal judge, and others who were gunned down in this senseless, horrific tragedy. And really not so much about me or my safety, but about ordinary Americans who could become victims of this kind of senseless violence in a public place as a result of an obviously deranged and terrible person.
Did in the days afterwards, did you give thoughts to your own security and and the exposure? I mean, I know you've been used to perhaps controversy and people not happy with you, but is this at a whole new level, or?
Well, I assume folks out there are more friendly to me than this individual was in that setting, without in any way being facetious about it. But again, not about me. My thoughts were about people, ordinary Americans, my staff, constituents, and really the assault on our democracy. When you think about it, it is such a fundamental act of violence against democracy to gun down people in a public place where a 9-year-old girl went to observe democracy in action. And as the president said so powerfully, we need to make our country, our government, our democracy worthy of her imagination and aspirations, and of all our young people who have those same dreams for what we should be. And it simply strengthened my resolve to be even more available and accessible and open, as I've been for 20 years, despite whatever fears people may have. Our democracy thrives. Indeed, it requires that we be open and accessible.
Senator, I read today that we have another handgun killing in the country, and yet virtually no members of Congress, or very few members of Congress, are proposing any form of ban on handguns. There, I believe, is some legislation relating to the special bullet clip that was used in this crime that apparently was banned for a period of time. Would you be willing to propose legislation that would ban this bullet clip that allows the shooter to fire multiple rounds?
You know, Rick, in the wake of this tragedy, there'll be a lot of legislative proposals, and certainly I'd review them. But we also need to focus on the mental health issues raised by this tragedy, and recognize that this person was in obvious need of some kind of treatment. He was regarded by people at the college where he attended, others who encountered him, as potentially dangerous. And there were a lot of warning signs there about his need for more mental health treatment. So that's another aspect that no doubt will be raised. But first and foremost and most important, at this unique moment of our history, beginning of a new Congress, a tragedy of historic proportions, we should be coming together as a nation, not finger-pointing, but rather problem-solving, not name-calling, and try to bring ourselves together as a nation.
But not more gun control now?
I'd be willing to review and consider measures that would make us safer as a nation. I think that right now we're focused on really trying to bring the nation together in some kind of consensus about moving forward on issues that are equally important that will matter the lives of ordinary Americans. More jobs, economic opportunity, health care. On these great historic issues, we should be coming together and engaging in constructive dialogue.
I mean, and those are all issues that certainly will engage debate. I mean, being a member of Congress is not for the faint of heart. I mean, have you been witness, or do you expect a tempering of the vitriol that they speak of in the wake of the shooting?
The president said it very well, that the civility and courtesy of our discourse, our public dialogue, is very important, but we should be trying to emphasize in a constructive, positive way, going forward, specific solutions, particularly on jobs and economic recovery and opportunity, wealth creation for ordinary middle-class Americans, and jobs for young people, so that we make our democracy and our nation worthy of the dreams and imaginings of that girl who was gunned down.
And yet, on the day that the president called for speaking in a way that heals and instead of wounding, a potential opponent, Sarah Palin, is talking about a blood libel. Seems like one person, the Democrat, is saying calm, and another person is ratcheting it up. What do you think about that?
And I hope we will go down the route that is calm and positive. And certainly I believe that most Americans want that course.
You've been on this listening tour for a few days now. Tell me what you're hearing from your constituents and what they want to talk about and what they want you to talk about.
Well, let me say it's been a very exciting and enlightening experience to be on the road, to be listening literally within days of being sworn in. First thing I did was to come back so that I can listen and learn from folks who are living here in Connecticut with the issues and problems that we'll be tackling in Washington. First and foremost, jobs, economic recovery. What I'm hearing is the need for more certainty on the part of small business, more borrowing. The banks have to start loaning to them. More job creation is a challenge. Just this week, I visited New Haven, the medical district, and downtown Crossing, where really as a model for the whole nation, a showcase for what can be done in research and development, encourage new technology and investment, a partnership between the medical school, the hospital, and government to encourage job creation in healthcare research and technology. And they are now expanding. They don't have enough room for all the new businesses that are there. So I'm seeing firsthand the kinds of problem solving that I think is tremendously important, and people are hurting, no question. People are hurting, struggling to stay in their homes, to find jobs, and really to keep their families together at a very, very tough time. And these messages I'm going to take back to Washington.
And we'll get money from Race to the Top next time, and maybe Yukon Hospital money. Can you promise about that?
You know, I can promise you with absolute certainty I am going to be fighting for Connecticut. I'm going to be the senator from Connecticut. I'm not a national senator. I'm fighting and advocating and working for the people of Connecticut. There'll be no stronger advocate for our citizens than Blumenthal down in Washington. And I'm going to be coming back to Connecticut every weekend. I don't have a big house down there. I have a little apartment, and I've asked my wife to make it uncomfortable enough that I want to come home. And I will every weekend.
Are you kind of finding your way down, finding your way around?
I have to acknowledge that the halls of Congress are sometimes more confusing than people might imagine. Maybe they imagine it. But, you know, I'll tell you something. People are frustrated with Washington, and rightly so. And a lot of this recovery that we've seen are bonuses on Wall Street, not business recovery on Main Street. And as confusing as Washington may be, I learn a lot by being simply here in Connecticut. And the halls of Congress can be pretty Byzantine,
I'm sure,
and sometimes complex. But at the end of the day, what I know I have to do is fight for the people of Connecticut.
All right.
Senator Lieberman's been guiding you around a little bit, maybe?
I've had some good conversation about Senator Lieberman. He certainly knows Washington better than I do.
Did he tell you whether he's running again?
Has not, no.
Yeah.
All right, thanks very much, Senator Blumenthal. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
you taking time, and I know we expect to see you often back here in Connecticut.
I hope so, absolutely.
Thanks. Up next, Senate Minority Leader John McKinney is here to talk about the tough job state lawmakers are going to have this year. That's next.